Hi, this is Aparna Ponnappa again with another learning video update. So this morning, I was accused by my husband of being inhuman. How do you have so much time? He said. And I thought I'd just share some of those tips around time management, right? So the good news is there's more than enough time in this lifetime for us to do everything that we want to do, right? We can make time, and as soon as we put that list together of what all we want to kind of achieve, somehow magically time really gets expanded. uh, but the reality of it is, in a sense, there are only 24 hours a day. So no matter what objective you set for yourself or what position you teach in leadership, you are going to have only those 24 hours in a day. So what is this whole thing about, time magically expanding itself to accommodate what you want? So there's a simple thing. Some of us live by the clock, some of us live by the compass. So here I'm going to kind of share certain things that you can eliminate from your life if you want to live by the compass. So the first thing is, a lot of us spend a lot of time waiting for inspiration, right? I mean, in search of inspiration, in search of things to do, in search of a vision. So one of the things that I practice, really, is getting inspired very easily. So if I see a pile of garbage, for example, I'll be inspired to clean it, or inspired to take a photo and share it, or talk to somebody about it, so that there's something that is actioned around it, right? I don't spend hours and hours pondering over the problem in itself. I spend a little bit more time around the solution and what can I do at my level, right? So there is a little bit of humility, saying that, there is only this much that I can do. But over a period of time, I've seen that if we do that little bit consistently, the world seems to change around you. So I'll just give you an example of mineral water. So I've been against mineral water for a while now, and at least for the last about 3 or 2 years back, when I come into a hotel, I literally have to fight with everybody, or very strongly insist that I wanted RO water. And today I'm sitting at ITC Gardenia, and they have their own packaged water, which they call the 0 mile. So it's been bottled in the hotel itself, using their RO facilities. And I'm sure the RO water they recycle for their wonderful gardens and the fountains and so on and so forth. So, I didn't have to kind of fight for all of that. But I see that, if you just work with a positive intention, many more people kind of join that movement somehow or the other, and things happen. So this was one thing that I wanted to share with you, right? Stop waiting for inspiration, and see if you can just get inspired with things. You'll see my eyeballs going here and there because I'm kind of reading some of these points out of a very nice infographic that was sent by Mahesh Hariharan, the MD of the company where I kind of consult and head HR and marketing currently. So the second thing is worrying about the opinions of others. So I've seen a lot of those instances. I mean, typically happens when there's an email and everybody's CC'd, and you tend to give any feedback, right? And there are some sensitivities that you might not have looked at. So I get a bit of pushback. Sometimes I get it either through direct feedback, and I get it through indirect feedback that something I did was wrong. Now, when you get that feedback, I've seen some people just worry about it and stop sending emails itself. Um, I just, apologize and move on. I've stopped worrying about what people think of me, because, that's too much of a baggage to carry. And the other thing is, as you grow, in your leadership journey, there'll be many more people in your life. I mean, and if you're social like me, we're close to family, friends, and if you're just spending any time, even 1 minute, worrying about what people think about you, it's a complete waste of time. The third thing is any kind of complaining, right? So that's one thing I've really eliminated from my life. I don't really complain about things. I report things. I suggest things. So if I find something to complain about, I'd rather do something about it than complain. I give feedback, with improvement areas. So if I see a problem, I'll say, okay, I'm not happy with this, or this is not right. Instead, can we look at XYZ? Um, the fourth one is trying to please everybody. The objective of our lives, I don't think, is to please people, really. We have to live our lives the best that we can, make a difference if we can to the planet positively. And that's not going to come with pleasing people, and the amount of change that is required typically means that we'll displease more people than we'll please. And, working on being a people pleaser itself is very, very tiring and frustrating. So that's one thing that I don't bother about. Comparing yourself to other people. So this is something, even more heightened with Facebook, when happy pictures of vacations and things like that come in. I know we have a family WhatsApp group. As we are speaking here, I'm working, but in a beautiful atmosphere. I'm in ITC doing a job that I really love. My son's on vacation, but he's at home, well taken care of. He's got friends to hang out with. But I have a sister-in-law who's vacationing in Singapore and another sister-in-law who's vacationing in Sri Lanka. And those pictures are coming my way. Breakfast, beautiful places that they're going to. And of course, you can feel a little bit envious about it. Somehow that bit I've expunged out of my life also. So I enjoy it, and I look at those pictures and vicariously almost feel like I'm there. So the vividness of the pictures in Facebook and the chronicles of what you see. A very dear friend of mine, Subhash, is in the spice gardens in, I think, Turkey or Egypt, and those places look so beautiful, and I feel like I'm there, and that's it. So I'm not going to be now trying to scuttle around to do a foreign vacation or anything like that and waste a lot of time and money doing it last minute at least. And I'm just happy, right? I mean, in fact, that whole thing of being happy for somebody I don't get, I'm just happy. Okay, and I'm happy to be part of that experience, even if it is a second-hand experience, right? Six is repeating the same mistakes again and again. So one of the tips there is that whenever I do something, post the activity or whatever, I spend a little bit of time analyzing whether I did a good job and what could I have done better. And I spend a little bit of prep before going into the next job. What were those learnings of what I wanted to do better, and can I incorporate it? So I've made that part and parcel of the way I work. So even my training programs, I find that every time I do a new program, or even the same program, right? I might add a slide, I might add a game, I might delete a game, right? I look at what worked better, right? And I look at the feedback and stuff like that. But again, I don't obsess about the feedback. So I just try to do things better. Now, the danger in trying to do things better, of course, you can get trapped in that trying to do things perfectly. So one of the things I figured out that in interpersonal transactions and the kind of work that I do, both in terms of leading people and managing certain portfolios within a company, and the leadership programs that I do, that that notion of perfection is a little bit difficult to chase and find. So the best that we can do is keep bettering what we are doing, right? So I'm not usually trying to get things perfect. So for example, today I had this issue that I came in and then I found some two workbooks missing because of some kind of mess up somewhere else. It doesn't bother me at all because I've just figured it out. Okay, this has happened. Now let's put a process in place that for next workshops we always have 2-3 workbooks in buffer, and let's manage what we have right now. So sometimes when you look for that sense of perfection, it becomes debilitating. I've seen people who can't start a workshop because everything is just not right, or they have a very bad start because something went wrong. So I don't bother with that. Fear of failure, I think I'm failing all the time, in something or the other. So I've started just taking it in my stride. Bit of a thick skin there. Having said that, I've had two mental breakdowns, both showed in physical health, right? So, of course, it did bug me, when I've lost like a large project and my health was down and stuff like that. But this is something that, again, it's like, I don't know if you've done roller coasters or those water slides. The first time you get in, it's very scary. The second time also, it's very scary. But you keep doing it. then you stop getting scared of it, right? And then you go do something really crazy, and then you get a little bit of an injury, right? So you have a downtime, and then you give it a little bit of a break. You stop taking risks for a while, and then you find another water slide, and then you go sliding down it again, and you find that you don't get hurt all the time, right? And the hurt wasn't so bad that you don't want to try again. So like that, I feel I take those risks with life also. And I feel that I think post 40 you realize that no matter what, how big the failure is, the support systems around you, the love that you've invested in other people will come back at you and take you to the next level, right? So failure is there, but more than that, we carry the fear of failure, which I think we can shed. And there are so many wonderful TED videos on this. So there's a video by a person called Mick Crystal on, how he, allows his team members and people that he works with to fail, but he doesn't want them to be failures. Okay, so lots has been said about it, but really just keep risking and taking those challenges up, and then you'll get used to, letting go the fear of failure. And the final one is not living your life. Okay, so I realized that I think the first 3 or 4 years of my work life, especially, I slept a lot. Wasted a lot of time over the weekend sleeping and hangovers and all of that jazz. So now I've figured out that balance. I want to be awake and alive to a lot of the experience around me. So I spend much less time in a bed. For me, weekend is not about binging on TV and stuff like that. I do that, of course, sometimes, and that is also a great experience, right? So a great TV show which everybody's talking about, I'll be one of the last to see it, and I'll enjoy that experience. But more than anything else, it's about getting out there and doing as much as you can, with your family, with your friends, with your work colleagues. So really living life. So some of the quick tips on this is, if you're leading a team, uh, you have your day-to-day transactions, but take time to celebrate and have fun, have a party, and enjoy yourself. So these were my 9 tips around how to eliminate some of these time wasters, which kind of suck a lot of your mental energy, right? And they put you in a negative zone. So you want to be able to fill yourself with positiveness, and positivity. Sorry. So what are these 9 things? Stop waiting for inspiration. Be inspired with everything that you see. Stop worrying about the other opinions of other people. Stop complaining. Instead, start solutioning. Do something about issues that you feel strongly about. Stop trying to please everyone. There's no such thing. You can't do it. Don't worry about it as well. People will forget, why you displeased them, if your intentions are good. Uh, Comparing yourself to somebody else is never a good utilization of time. Okay, so that's point number 5. 6, repeating same mistakes, instead learn and improve. 7, trying to be perfect. 8 was the fear of failure, and 9 was not living your life. So all the best. Have a wonderful festive season. In India, we are celebrating Dashera, Diwali. That gives in way to Christmas, and then New Year, and then Valentine's. So great times ahead. Wish you all the very best. And thanks.